1 2 testing 1 2 1 2.
So we're 10 minutes away now to the bottom of the hour with the key event for today, the US CPI numbers for December as well. At the bottom of the hour, the initial jobless claims for the week. So consensus expecting US consumer inflation to tick up in December, but underlying price pressures continuing to ease, so in hopes that the economy can dodge a recession. So running through the expectations here for US CPI, month-on-month headline December read, 0.2% expected, a rise from the prior 0.1. Core month-to-month, 0.3% expected to remain unchanged. For the year-on-year figures for CPI, 3.2% expected, a rise from the prior 3.1. Core year-on-year, 3.8% expected versus a prior 4.0. For the real average hourly earnings numbers for December, year-on-year prior revision of 0.9%, while the real average weekly earnings, 0.6% previously revised. As well, at the bottom of the hour, the weekly initial jobless claims, with 210,000 expected for the week versus a prior of 202,000, and the continuing claims 1.87 million expected versus a prior of 1.855 million. So looking to a note here from HSBC for CPI, they're estimating headline CPI rose 0.3% month-to-month, with the year-on-year rate rising to 3.3, as well expecting a 0.3% month-to-month rise in food prices, 0.6 rise. So looking to a note.
All right, everybody, how are you? If you can hear me, please type yes in the chat. I'll appreciate that. Um, all right, everybody. Yeah, I think you can hear me. All right, CPI data in about in 9 minutes. So let's have a look at what we have here. Let's put on the squawk too. Hello, Gino. How are you, mate? So month over month, we are expecting CPI year over year to beat the previous numbers. Higher initial jobless claims and higher continuing jobless claims. So it is expected that that is going to be a little bit mixed. So let's wait and see what happens. Right, so I placed a buy limit in gold in the Euro USD with a 0.20%.
Well, some crypto news here, and ARK's Kathy Wood in a CNBC interview noting that they see the price of Bitcoin
Very
at price
mild.
reaching $1.5 million
I'm
by 2030 under a
expecting
bull case.
a possible liquidation of these lows to tap my point of interest in the Euro USD longs. And of course, I am already long gold with the string trading group. Here's the trade. And yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything with that particular gold long. We are keeping it as is. So your USD, possible liquidation of about 42 pips. So let's wait and see what happens. Boom. And I don't know if you noticed the pound getting weaker. We got this, the BOJ considering lowering price outlook for 2024 to middle 2% range. All right, 6 minutes until the data dump. And also, I was looking for possible pound yen longs because we have CPIs. Today, I didn't act on the setup. But let's wait and see what happens, right? Gold breaking with the highs. So our gold long is just phenomenal right now, and waiting for that possible liquidation on the Euro USD, which will mean a a liquidation of these highs on the US dollar before a move lower. Now let's see what happens, right? Gold is just breaking above. That's amazing. We are up 1.3 R on this gold long on this, with the swing trading group. Buenas a todos, ¿cómo está Orlando? Bien, Carlos, ¿qué tal, papa? All right, 5 minutes, guys, 5 minutes. Massive break of the structure in gold. So very possibly, let me show you. The reason that we haven't moved or I haven't moved my stop losses in this gold long is because of course, CPIs, right? And even though we broke with the structure and we broke with the manipulation above the Asian session highs, very possibly we could get a liquidation before the bullish continuation in gold. Now, moving my stop losses to break even, I mean, it could be a play because my entry is exactly here. Here's my entry um, in my gold long with the swing trading group. So yeah, very sniper entry in this market. But you know what? Let's have a look because we're talking about 160 pips. So with gold.
So 3 minutes ago now to the US CPI numbers for December, again running through the expectations, month-to-month 0.2% expected, core month-to-month 0.3, for year-on-year for CPI 3.2% expected, core year-on-year 3.8. As well, the US initial jobless claims for the week due up 210,000 expected, continuing claims 1.87 million. A final note here from Commerzbank, they note that if core inflation continues to stabilise at a current level between 0.2 and 0.3% month-to-month, still a tad too high, probably not enough to justify the current level of interest rates forever, but also too high to justify more than 150 base points of rate cuts this year. So they note for stronger rate cuts and above all an even stronger turnaround on the part of Fed officials, they probably need to see figures that are a little below 0.2% month to month, although this is not expected today.
Are you gonna live trade or I don't know what you mean. Are you asking me if I am going to place a trade live? I already have an order for longs on the Euro USD. Here's that.
And further in geopolitical news from the Oman, off the coast of Oman, the retaliation for US oil theft. That's Iran seizing the St. Nicholas tanker.
So the market that we really want to keep an eye on is the US dollar. Let's move to the lower time frames, 3-minute chart. Less than 2 minutes until the data dump, guys. I want to have gold here. All right, 1 minute.
1 minute to go now, 1 minute.
Everything's steady, everything is steady. Gold just, massively breaking with, the pre-market highs. I'm gonna put my MT5 here.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, guys, on the CPI data release.
Headline moving 0.2, 3.2.
0.3% month to month, core month to month 0.3%, year on year at 3.4, core year on year at 3.9%. Debate that's the headline CPI month to month 0.3% versus expected 0.2, core month to month coming in at 0.3% unchanged. For year on year 3.4% versus expected 3.2, core year on year 3.9%, higher than expected 3.8. For the real average hourly earnings 0.8% year on year, while weekly at 0.5%. Initial jobless claims 202,000 for the week versus expected 210,000, a power vision of 203,000, and the continuing claims at 1.834 million with a power vision of 1.868 million.
All right, very possibly will be managing my risk in my gold longs, but not just yet. Not yet.
Just looking to the report here for CPI, the index for shelter continued to rise in December, contributing over half of the monthly all items increase. Energy index as well rising 0.4% over the month. So indexes which did increase in December include shelter, motor vehicle insurance and medical care, while index for household furnishings and operations as well for personal care were among those that decreased over the month.
Very strong US dollar.
Initial reaction here saying Nasdaq 100 futures are raising their pre-market gains. S&P 500 futures down 0.2%. In the treasuries, they're raising their gains as well after the higher than expected CPI numbers.
All right, very close to getting triggered.
While traders of futures contracts tied to Fed policy rate reducing bets on a March rate cut after CPI.
All right, I'm triggered long on the Euro US dollar. One minute. I'm triggered long on the Euro USD here. We'll manage this one very aggressively, but for the time being, it's looking good. Here's that trade on the 1 minute chart so you can actually see what I'm doing. Euro USD.
Again, just looking closer to the CPI numbers, that's the first three handle on annual core since May 2021.
All right, amazing entry on the Euro US dollar. Amazing entry on the Euro US dollar. I'm going to manage it very aggressively. I am up on the Euro USD 0.5R. Because it's CPI, I'm going to move my stop losses to break even now on the Euro US dollar. Yep. All right, so sending this to my VIPs. Hold on. longs after liquidation. All right, so I am at break even on my Euro USD longs. Yeah, so the reason that I'm at break even on my Euro USD longs is because CPI, right? I'm playing the liquidation of the lows, and if the US dollar continues to rally, um, then I don't want to be long anymore. I don't want to be long on the Euro USD anymore if the US dollar continues to rally, right? Because that would be foolish. Sniper man. Yeah, I mean, but let's wait and see what happens. Here on the US dollar, we got that pullback, right? Um, After that massive, massive bullish breakout. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see. And yeah, I mean, my goal long is a swing trade, so I'm absolutely doing nothing with it. But if you notice, just have a look at this because it's quite um, amazing and intriguing, right? Gold liquidated the lows also and sniped my entry from a couple of days ago. All right, so I'm up 2.5 R on the Euro USD. No, I'm up 1 R on the Euro US dollar. Yeah, closing 80% here because my risk was only 0.75. Holy mama. 0.75 for about an hour. On the Euro US dollar, big win. Boom, there you go. CPI trading, closing 80%. Hold on. Of my Euro USD longs here for 1 hour. All right, so winners, chicken dinners on the Euro USD. Did you guys take the trade or not? Very good.
Looking closer through the report there for US CPI, the super core rating as well coming in at 0.4 from the prior 0.44.
All right. Hold on, guys. I'm just doing some stuff here on my other screen. I'll be right there with you. Yep. All right. So, what's up? Now that we got 1 hour off, wish I'd risk more. I mean, yeah, everybody is. I mean, in hindsight, everybody's a fucking hero. But don't think like that. Don't think like that because this is a volatile environment that we were trading, mate. Is it because I'm doing my tax return? No, boy. I have to do mine too because I bank in California, so I need to. Great Euro USD trade. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm never bitter when it's a win, bro. All right, so I am looking here at my gold long, uh, and I'm going to wait and see. Now, if you're part of the swing trading group, right? We were up about 1.3 R on the spike up, pre CPI release in gold, but this is a swing trade, so I'm not comfortable cutting it short that quick. Now, having said that, all right, having said that, this is the Japanese yen. Having said that, let's go to gold here. And the 5-minute chart. Having said that, here's my entry, right? Right at the pre-market lows. Um, and my stop losses are below, the real structure lows right here. So I could, in fact, move my stop losses to break even. But again, I am going to wait for the open to decide what to do here on that trade. But yeah, for time being, that's cool. Is gold swing still under your monitor? Yeah, I mean, it's here. Here it is. I'm talking about that, right? I know that I'm on a bit of a delay, so I'm sorry about that. All right, so nice CPI trade, right? Nice CPI trade, and the Euro USD. Let's have a look. Looks like we got that, reaction to the manipulation, but the US dollar is looking very strong. Very possibly will be stopped out at break even on the final part of that Euro USD. But nice trade overall, 1R. Let's have a look at US equities. All right, so hola. I was looking at possible longs on the S&P 500. I reckon. Let's have a look. I think it was the S&P 500. Yeah, I would have gotten stopped out. Maybe not on NASDAQ. Maybe not on NASDAQ. But again, when it comes to high impact events like CPI, right? It's better to focus on one market. And yeah, I was looking at the US dollar, all right, and at the Euro USD, which was a great trade, in my opinion. So this is a break even now. And yeah, let's wait for us to get either stopped out of break even on the last portion or not. Yeah, and about gold, gold is a swing trade. So let's start by looking at the 50-minute chart. Here was my entry, right? This was my entry right here, just above that 50-minute imbalance. I got slipped a little bit, but that's fine, right? That's fine. What I dig about this is that, here it is. Here's the trap. Hold on. This is what is known as a key level. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna grab this high. So, if we go to the lower time frames, let's see what happened here. Yeah, so manipulation about that particular high in gold, I don't like that. to be honest with you. So I'm still thinking about what to do. And let me calculate the break-even point here. We're talking about now it's 70 pips for a swing trade. That's too narrow. I could in fact move my stop losses to below this low, which I think I'm gonna do, right? Given the fact that right now my stop losses are below this low, no, the real structure low. But now, now that price liquidated this, these lows, created, a new internal structure low, and broke with this high, you know, the structure in this market, even though it's kind of rangy, right? Even though it's kind of rangy, the structure low that I would plumb. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my other screen. The structure low that would invalidate my trade is this one right here. So yes, I think I'm moving my stop losses to below that low on my gold long, meaning that right now I have a 54 pip stop loss, and moving my hold on. I have a 97 pip stop loss, and moving my stop losses to below that low would cut my risk. Not, basically to half. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because this is pre-market still, guys, and we still need to see what's going to happen with the open volume. But yeah, for the time being, that was my CPI trade. I'm gonna give you a few minutes if you have any questions. But if you don't, I'm going to log out. I'm still on my last portion of the Euro US dollar at break even, by the way. But very positive. The structure in the US dollar, this is DXY, right? It's looking very bullish. So, yeah, this is looking very bullish. Very possibly we're going to get a pullback towards this level before the break of the highs, if that happens. If not, very possibly we're going to see the US dollar printing new daily highs above the New York pre-market highs, which means that that is going to be very bearish for the Euro USD, which means that I'm going to get stopped out at break even on the last portion of my Euro US dollar long, which is fine because trading the news is just trading volatility. You need to act fast. You need to take your profits fast, right? And let's have a look at this because there were two ways of playing this, in my opinion. I considered the long side on the Euro US dollar, or the long play on the Euro US dollar, cleaner than possible shorts, because let me explain this to you, right? So I had a setup. I had a setup Euro US dollar long, right, for CPIs right here. Hold on. Yes. Hold on. I need to monitor my gold long. All right. not doing anything just yet. So yeah, I had a setup long on the euro US dollar, right? Um, and the way that I see trading the news is using the volatility during the data dump, to get triggered on my setups.
10 minutes now to the top of the hour. Next
Because
up, we
more
wait to hear
often than
from
not,
ECB.
we see liquidations, right, towards those points of interest. But if we were, if we were to trade the short side, we would have had to wait for the release, which we didn't know it was going to be bullish for the US dollar, which means it was going to be bearish for the euro US dollar. So after this, I would have had to look, for a setup short, which is something that I really don't like to do. So I rather use volatility, right? To get triggered during the news on a setup that is already brewed. If you trade US dollar and Japanese yen, why don't you trade the US dollar Japanese yen? That's a good question. I don't trade the US dollar Japanese yen because the only two currencies that I trade is the US dollar and the Japanese yen, right? So I know it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, me saying that I don't trade the US dollar Japanese yen. But the reason is because if I were to trade, if I have a setup on the Japanese yen, I'm going to look for a market that is going to have a higher impact with the Japanese yen move, right? The US dollar is always super strong, right? Not super strong in the sense that it's always bullish. No, it's super strong in the sense that it has a high volume, right? So a move on the US dollar will move those market or products, right? So if I were to trade, let's imagine that I'm looking for shorts on the Japanese yen. Well, that's not the case. Let's imagine that I'm looking for longs on the Japanese yen, right? So I'm looking for longs on the Japanese yen after this liquidation, which I'm not. This is an example, right? Let's put on the US dollar Japanese yen on top. Right, if I have a setup long on the Japanese yen, that means that I should have a setup short on the US dollar Japanese yen, setup short on the pound yen, setup short on the euro yen. But a bullish move on the US dollar is going to have a very bullish impact on the US dollar Japanese yen, right? Which means that the probability of success of a Japanese yen driven trade or setup would be lower than trading it, for example, on the pound yen. I don't know if I explained myself correctly, but yeah, that's why. All right, guys, so that's me. That's me. And yeah, I don't think I am going to place another trade today. Basically, I'm done. I'm just going to monitor my gold longs with the swing trading group, and yeah, I'm not planning on trading U.S. equities at the open at all. But yes, I will monitor the open for my current gold long, which I think I might just close a break even if, because the US dollar is looking so strong, it's very possible that, not very possible, but it will. The US dollar just broke with the structure completely, just liquidated all the highs. Just have a look at this. All right, just have a look at this. The USD just liquidated all these highs, and yeah, this is a super volatile move. with little to no pullback. But if we go to a 2 minute chart, 3 minute chart, we did have that pullback. But again, I don't think and I don't see anything, worthy of bearishness for at least this session on the USD. So heads up to that, heads up to that if you are planning to trade this market, or if you have a gold trade, long gold trade, be careful with the USD at the open. That is my advice, because that's what I am going to do. Sir, my email, please. What happened with, I don't know. I don't understand. What email? All right. All right, so the Japanese yen is looking very weak. Let's have a last look at this. The Japanese yen is looking very, very weak. What I would want to see here, just, well, it already happened, a break of these lows, right? Japanese yen breaking with these lows. Let's have a look at the 50-minute chart, right? And very possibly we're going to get an opportunity to short this market right here. This is the 50-minute imbalance or inefficiency, right? Yeah. So heads up to that, because very possibly we'll be sending shorts on the on the Japanese yen to the VIP, which means that if we look at the pound yen, we might look for longs on the pound yen on a pullback. But again, I mean, there's no setup here. Euro yen, there's no setup. So, yeah, the setup. I was looking at possible longs on the euro yen before the CPI release. My point of interest, or my zone, was here exactly. Would have been a sniper entry, but again, that was absolutely would have been gambling. That particular trade. Did it liquidate the lows? It did liquidate the lows. Mitigated that? No, it didn't. All right, so yeah, I made a count under your referral. All right, mate. That's why we have a support team. They will get back to you. I don't do that. But don't worry, if you did and you sent all the information, you will get your invite link to all my VIP groups. That's the swing trading group, the VIP, the normal VIP group, and the crypto VIP group. So yeah, just be patient. They will get to you. Okay. Just got stopped out of break even on the rest of my Euro USD. Longs, that's fine. Nice trade. I'm sleeping. And yeah, little to nothing to do here other than wait for the open, and I'm not going to wait for the open, live. This was just a CPI show, just to trade volatility on the data release, and that's about it. Yeah, the Japanese yen just massively breaking with the lows. Let's have a look at the pound yen again. Yeah, the pound yen is about to break with the highs, but I really don't have a setup for a pullback. Let's have a look at the US dollar Japanese yen. I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't have a setup long, short for the Japanese yen, but maybe something will come up later. All right. So thank you for joining me, guys. Trade safe. Be careful. Don't Give back the money that you made today, if you made any. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.